cause a lot of problems for people, whether it be, continuing back pain or sciatic nerve issues or severe headaches and that kind of thing. So you want to be just kind of careful with these cases, and the insurance companies will want to try to settle them fast. So it's a good idea to call for a consultation. I'd be happy to do that and just walk you through the process. Hi, this is John Kelly of the Kelly Law team. Wanted to address whether you need an attorney if you want to make a motorcycle accident claim. And you need to kind of sit down and evaluate what kind of case you have. If it's property damage and you don't have injuries, and you have an agent that you like to work with, you don't need an attorney for that issue unless something comes up. But in other cases where you have either major injuries or serious injuries, or you have a lot of property damage, you probably want to at least consult with an attorney, because there's a lot of things that you can kind of get yourself in trouble with if you're not careful. The insurance companies are going to want to take statements right away. And especially if you're injured, they're going to want to try to figure out what your injuries are, evaluate them, and make a settlement offer, and try to move your case along fast. You may not know the extent of your injuries, and you may not know that you have other avenues for recovery. So you absolutely can make a claim, but you do want to be careful. So at least contact an attorney and get a free consultation. Sit down with them, tell them what your situation is, let them know what your injuries are, how it all happened, and just get the advice of how they think you should proceed, and then you make the decision from there. So that would be my advice in that kind of situation. This is John Kelly, Kelly Law Team. I wanted to talk to you about motorcycle accidents and some of the causes. One of the things that we see in our office a lot is accidents involving motorcycles where the other party failed to yield. It's a common cause, and it can actually present some difficulties with proving liability. Many a times when this kind of case comes about, the adverse party is claiming that the motorcycle turned out in front of them, made a left turn in front of them, but the important thing is to establish that the adverse driver who caused the accident failed to yield the right of way to the motorcycle. And there's ways of doing that. You may have your own witnesses. It's good to make sure you always call the police to get them out to take a statement. Take photographs if you can, but give us a call. We'll give you a free consultation regarding any kind of issues that you have in the accident, and try to help you along the process, because it can be a rocky road with the insurance companies at times, and we're here to help you with those situations.
We're with John Kelly with the Kelly Law Team. He's a personal injury attorney in Phoenix, Arizona, and he's agreed to answer some online questions for us. Well, actually a specific online question, and it was posted: how do I find the best personal injury lawyer?
Ryan, if you've been injured, there's a lot of things that injured people are going through, and it's a very stressful time. They have doctors they're dealing with, medical expenses, their own pain, property damage can be in place, or missing work. So it's a very trying time, and finding the right attorney is actually a difficult process, and an important one. So I have some tips for people to decide on what attorney to use, and 3 tips that I think will help them through the process. The first is to look at the attorney's reviews online. There's a lot of great websites. Avvo is one of them, AVVO, Google reviews, Yelp reviews. These are all online resources for people to check into attorney, what their reputation is, past clients, that kind of thing. The second thing is to look into their experience. What kind of background do they have? You know, I was a former prosecutor, so I have a lot of trial experience, and I think trial experience is actually something that's relatively rare in the field, and it's a good thing to have for a personal injury attorney, because that attorney can actually take the case to trial and deal with the jury and force the insurance companies to be fair. And the final thing is to just call the attorney and get to know them, have a free consultation with them, make sure you actually talk to the attorney that's going to be handling your case. I always set aside at least 30 minutes for a free consultation, go over all the facts of the case with them, see if your personalities work out together, because there's a lot of attorneys out there and you want to have a good working relationship with them. So I think those are 3 important things for people to look at, right?
All right, well, makes a lot of sense. Thank you for your time. And if for the people watching, if you have any additional questions, all you need to do is post them in the comments section below, and John's agreed to answer those and get back to you. Thanks again, John.
Thanks, Ryan. Hello, this is John Kelly of the Kelly Law Team. I wanted to talk to you about how motorcycle accidents are different than typical auto accidents when they go to a jury trial. The biggest issue that we see is that oftentimes jurors have a bias and oftentimes do not understand the challenges that motorcycle riders face on the road. So what we do is we make sure in voir dire, which is the initial stage of picking the jurors, we ask the right questions. And questions that are as simple as, have you ever ridden a motorcycle? Does anyone you know ride a motorcycle? Do you understand the mechanics of a motorcycle on the road and what specific challenges they face? These things can give us insight onto whether a juror is going to be a good fit for our jury and whether they're going to understand the physical properties of a motorcycle and how it can affect an accident. Very important to make sure that you have jurors that are not going to go on there and say, I don't like motorcycle riders, they get in my way, they're, I've had bad experiences with them. Those are bad jurors for this kind of case. And especially because motorcycle accidents, they often have very high damages. The injuries are very severe. So that initial stage of picking the juror for the jury is very important.
Today we're with John Kelly. John Kelly is a personal injury attorney. He's out of Phoenix, Arizona, and he's agreed to answer some questions, or specifically a question that was asked online with a video response. So John, with that said, let me go ahead and read you the question. This question was posted specifically, well, let's see. If you were in a car accident and you were to sue the insurance company, is your insurance rate from the company going to go up because of that lawsuit?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. A lot of people wonder about their insurance rates when they're in an accident. You don't actually sue the insurance company. You sue the adverse driver. So I can assume that this person, if they're suing, is not at fault for the accident, because the real question is, are you at fault for the accident? If you are at fault, it's very likely that your rates are going to go up if there's any kind of lawsuit, if there's any contact with your insurance company. Now, if you're found to be not at fault, 100% not at fault, they probably should not go up. But there are some caveats to that. If you end up finding out that the adverse driver, the person who injured you, doesn't have sufficient insurance to cover your injuries, you may have to go back to your own insurance company with an uninsured or underinsured motorist claim. That may trigger your insurance company to say, look, we paid out for your accident, therefore your rates are going to go up. Other issues that can come up also are these big companies use a lot of computer-generated algorithms to determine your rates. So the reality is that if you get in a certain amount of accidents in a certain amount of time and you fit some kind of demographic that they're looking at, they may bump your rates up. So there's no hard and fast rule to that. The best advice is to make sure you find an insurance provider that you trust, ask them the questions about whether your rates would go up with an accident, and just be an informed purchaser.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for the answer. And if you're watching this online and have any questions, you can actually post additional questions in the comments below, and John has agreed to answer those online. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Ryan. Hi, this is John Kelly, the Kelly Law Team. I had a question regarding whether you need an attorney if you have insurance, if you've been involved in a motorcycle accident. And the question is a good one, but some considerations that need to be taken are the fact that, one, if you're in an accident and you have your own insurance, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be dealing with your own insurance. What you're probably going to be dealing with is the adverse party's insurance company. And your insurance company is not always going to be ideal to help you present your claim, because the adverse insurance company is going to want to minimize the amount that they pay you. They may be making you a settlement offer right off the bat, and you're very likely going to need to at least consult an attorney as to whether that's a fair offer. The other issue is the time that's involved in a case like this. And if you don't have the experience with dealing with insurance adjusters, and you're trying to get better, if you're in the hospital or you have serious injuries, you may be leaving money on the table and not getting a fair settlement, not knowing that there's other avenues of cash there for you, or also you don't have the threat of a lawsuit. So if you're not actually working with an attorney, sometimes the adjusters can just kind of wait and see what happens with it.